You're welcome to another skills training based on Adobe InDesign, and we're still on the software, and we need to know how to make quite a very good use of it. And we're gonna go through that just a few minutes later. And so I'm gonna click on the InDesign app. As you can see, this is a very good and well detailed surface. I'm decrease the view back to I think 50% should be quite okay for me. And look at the blade, it's good. So we've got that back. Now let's move. So as you can see right here, we've discussed some tools right here. So we're gonna move to the next part of the show. Sorry, not show, the episodes. We're gonna talk about the interface and what you need to know about the interface. So I'm gonna go through that in just a few minutes. Let's move. So now let's move, okay? Once you need to know about this interface part, it's kind of quite simple to get used to. So let's actually make you to get used to it. So let's go to rectangle tool, draw a rectangle shape. As you can see, this looks quite cool and interesting. Yeah, quite cool and interesting. So now let's move. So right here, you could actually get what we call, this is the stroke. Once you see the black stuff in the middle, this means this is for the stroke. And the stroke, this is the stroke color. I could actually increase the stroke by just clicking on this anyway. I could decrease and increase the stroke right here. And actually, one thing you need to know about this is the fact that this is the fill. When I click on this, the fill comes into view. When I click on this, I could change the feel of the shape. As you can see, this looks kind of classic. So that's just one thing you need to know about the stroke. Okay, so now let's move. The next thing you need to know about the rest of this is that you can actually apply color, gradient, to anything you want to apply to this stuff. If I click apply gradient, I could just click on this and create a weird looking gradient. And yeah, sorry, apply. Just click on this and create a kind of weird looking gradient, and it's gonna apply right here. You see. Okay, as you can see, it's gonna kind of apply right here depending on how I mix the colors. So that's just, I could just apply none and it's just gonna be blank. So that's just what all this means. And I could always enter switch within the fill and the stroke, whether I want the fill to be blank or whether I want the stroke to be blank. I could just enter switch. Let me give this one a color so you could have a better understanding of this. As in, I could just switch from the stroke to the fill, switch the stroke and the fill. Let me increase the stroke. Okay, and you can see switching it in and out. Okay, so this won't give you much problem anyway. The next one, which is the view option, you can view it, just add the rulers, the guide, the smart guide. If I say I should leave the smart guides, that means I don't want any guides. I could just remove the guides too, remove the rulers, and remove the frame edges. So it's kind of quite looks simple and you can make mistake anyhow. But if I put the frame edges, it makes me to understand how the shape works. And also, one thing why you need to put the rulers, the fact that you could actually do this, look, you can help you to determine where all the stuff is supposed to be. Look, okay, and I could just draw this up from this place, and I could actually create a kind of margin where I can know where to put my stuff, and that's where the stuff is useful in. Okay, the next thing I need to know about is just the smart guides. Okay, the smart guides are everywhere, guides you wherever you go, guides your shape. You see that line you see whenever I put the stuff, that helps me to adjust stuff. They are smart guides. Okay, so that's just one thing about the stuff. And let's forget about the baseline grid anyway. It's not gonna be much useful to you anyway. But this tools will be most useful when you are arranging stuff, which you're gonna be doing most of the time. But don't worry, it's gonna be very easy to arrange stuff as long as you've got the latest version. The latest version is to have some kind of machine reading algorithms which helps to determine the relative position of your spacings of things. So maybe those tools are gonna be quite useless to you most of the time, but they are kind of quite useful for beginners anyway. The next thing you need to know about is the interface right here. I'm gonna do a very quick explanation. Okay, rather than put all the digits into this thing, I recommend just kind of move it anyhow you want to move it. Okay, see that as I'm moving it, the digits at the top and at the bottom, anyway you call it, are kind of changing place and positions. So let me tell you the meaning of that. This is the X position. Okay, for the position I could just increase this, and this is going to disappear right here for the X position. If I go back like this, and you know what's going to happen, it's going to move like this. So if I press the Y position just a little bit up, let's give it 69, it's gonna move right down. This is the Y position positive. It's gonna move right down, and let me put us back to 29. Okay, it's gonna move right here. So if I can just press -1, and negative Y is gonna make it move up. So the next one about this fact that we have the W, which means the width of the shape. So if I change the width of the shape to 46, and you see it's gonna change the shape width, okay? Or if I change to 32, the height is gonna change. Look, the height has changed. This is beautiful. The height has changed. So next thing to know about this one is fact that it's just give the scale X per percentage. And it can make it to move whether horizontally, to scale horizontally, or just to scale vertically, anyhow you want to make it scale, whether up or down. If I press this down, that means this is gonna go back up. If I press this like this up, this is gonna just straighten out like this. Well, scale, it's gonna scale in the horizontal way, and if I press this, I just it's gonna scale in the vertical way too. So it's just like that. The next thing you need to know about this is the angle. I could actually change the angle to anyway I want to change the angle to, but let's just say I'm going to be changing the angle. Next thing to know about is the shear tool, and I can actually use that to turn my shape into anything. Okay, let's see, this is parallelogram, and this looks kind of quite cool. So this is kind of quite easy to use. I can actually use this to mirror my shape, whether to rotate it 90% clockwise or maybe it's 90 counterclockwise, give it a flip horizontal. I'm kind of using the mirror one, horizontal, flip vertical, and this one depicts how your shape is been moving. Next thing about the stuff is that you can adjust your fill and stroke here. Look, this is beautiful. I can adjust my fill stroke any way I wish to adjust it. I could see show color swatches, show gradient swatches, anyone I want it to show color groups. And if I was click on this and get any color sample I wish to get right here, I just adjust my stroke anyway. I want to adjust my stroke, double click on it, double click on this, and you get your stroke. That's it. So one thing about this stuff is that I can actually decrease my stroke. Look, I think I just decreased my stroke. I can increase it. Also, I can change how my stroke look like. Look, this looks kind of quite cool. As in, who does not love cool strokes? So that's just how the stuff works. Next thing about this is just to add effect to objects. I can add a stroke effect to this. Okay, that's a stroke in the first instance. I can also add a fill effect to it. Any kind of effect I want to add to it. Okay, it's kind of quite cool. Next thing is that I could decrease the opacity of the shape or increase the opacity. Click on the shape and you can increase and decrease the opacity. That's cool too. Next thing is to know about the fact that we can add drop shadow. Click on the shape. Let me just first click on the shape, and I want to add a drop shadow, and I click OK, and you see I've got a drop shadow effect. And there are tons of other effects. Okay, Ctrl Z and Ctrl Z and Ctrl Z. So let's remove the drop shadow effect, and you can see tons of other effects right here which you could actually make use of. Next thing to know about the fact is the fact that we can actually add the drop shadow right here without having to do much of the work anyway. And with this wrap text, you can wrap your text around pictures, around objects, around anything. Okay, when we talk about that, when we talk about text functions, about how to use text functions and stuff like that. The next thing to know about is the boundary, the corner box. Okay, you could do a lot of customization with the corners. Okay, the corners of the shape. Okay, just give it a new look. As in, you could do a lot of stuff with the corners. Trust me. So the next thing you can actually do is that you can actually add the kind of corner you want. I think I want the rounded corner. Look, this looks legit. As in, this is legit. Okay, maybe this should go for my next novel. Or what do you think? This looks cool to me. Look how it looks, so simple and cool. So this is just all you need to know about the interface. Look, it's pretty simple to use. I don't think it's kind of hard for anyone. And for this place, you can actually adjust the zoom to any kind of way you want to adjust the zoom. And this is the baseline grid. As you can see, when you get closer to place, start seeing the baseline grid. Let me remove the baseline grid, and you see it's not really much showing any longer. And I'm gonna go back and click this back to 50%, and this looks cool. Next thing to know about is a master. I could actually adjust the amount of the board I want. Okay, change the kind of board I want anyway. But it's not, I don't recommend you use it. It's better if you customize the board when you're about to work on this stuff. Like maybe you want 1 artboard, 2 artboard, 3 artboard, 4 artboard, anyone you want to work on. And look at this. I can use for digital publishing. Okay, this helps to check if there's any errors in your design and stuff like that. I think it's gonna be most useful for the animation and stuff like that. So next, in the next tutorial, I'll talk about the interface design displays and some part of the essentials, the stuff right here, and some tools which you can make use of right here. See, this is kind of quite useful. So we're going to talk about that in the next tutorial. Thank you very much. If you love what we're doing, please we need your encouragement. Give us some comments. We need some comments about how the stuff we do, about what you really know about this stuff, okay, which we have not mentioned, and you can actually add more to this stuff. We'll talk about that in the next tutorial. And one thing we can actually do about the stuff that you can actually give us a thumbs up on this episode, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and please, we're all gonna say that you should stay safe for some while, because we need people to watch our tutorial and we didn't want any bad thing to happen to you, so just stay safe for some while. Thank you very much, goodbye, and stay safe.